press record and minimize. Now you can minimize that panel by hitting the double arrow next to the X. If you do that, it's a toggle switch. It minimizes it, and then if you hit it again, it blows it back up, and so forth and so on. Okay. Now, I put my email address on there so that let's go ahead and get through this step. Since your geometry, you're going to need to send me stuff for sure. If it was algebra, you could probably verbalize most every question. But with geometry, you need to take a picture and send it to that email. And whatever material you want to go over today, take the first picture and send it. Don't do more than one picture for the first one, just because it adds quite a bit of time before it gets to me if you do more than one. So let's make sure we get the process working. Go ahead. Do you have an iPhone or a Samsung?
An iPhone. Make
sure you take the picture and send it as a large image, not small, but a large image.
Of what we're doing today?
Yeah, whatever picture, yes. In other words, take a picture of what we're doing today. What we're
I have to go to the website.
When you send it as a large image. Don't send it to my email as a small image. I won't be able to read it.
How do you tell if it's a large image?
Not sure. Unfortunately, I do not have an iPhone, so I'm not quite sure how you specify large image. But you want to send it as an attached file. Maybe your mom can help you out there.
Okay. Mom, what was the date on Friday? Mom, what was the date on Friday?
The 6th. October 6th. Bradley, you still with me?
Yeah, we're just looking, see when you do small.
Sometimes I lose audio and I don't know it if I go a period of time without hearing sound. So
he did good on his test. He got a 90%.
Well, very good.
On the test you were. He could only get a 70 because he had to remake it, but just so you know.
Mom, what's the...
Great.
All right.
Should I just take a picture of that?
Yeah, send him a picture of what you're working on this week, all of it.
Mom.
And then you'll only have to type in this email address once. The next time you go to do it, as soon as you type in DA, it'll bring up a list of defaults and you can just click on it. So it's pretty easy to send pictures of your review material.
And now push this here, the bottom left, and then put email. Then put his email. And then once you do the email once, all you got to do is push his, put his email under his contact. And
Mom?
I'm not sure how the iPhone works. My Samsung, once you put in an email, it'll bring it up.
Yep.
In other words, you don't have to actually put it in a contacts list. It'll default. Once it's in DA, it'll show a list of emails that start with DA.
Exactly. Put subject. Gotta put a subject first.
Yeah. And the only reason I suggest only sending one picture is that the more pictures you attach, the longer it takes for that email to get to me. Surprisingly, one picture takes like 30 seconds. 5 pictures takes like 5 minutes.
All right, we sent it. Let's see if you get it.
Okay. And it says sent on your end. In other words, it has to say sent on your end, sent email. Once it says that, then I can start checking for it. So far, nothing. Make sure it didn't go to spam. Check my email. Make sure you spelled it right. COWAN 1949.
You can. He could probably also send you a picture of a text, couldn't he? Text message a picture.
No, that goes to my phone. I need to be able to put it on my computer screen so that we both can see it. And unfortunately, my phone's operating system does not receive pictures, so I can't even forward it. Otherwise, I could do it that way.
Touch it. We'll get it figured out.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be an attached file. You can actually make it as part of the body of the email if you know how to do that easier. And I'll be able to bring it up and we should be able to look at it. It just works a lot better if you send it as an attached file, because then I can rotate it if necessary. I can zoom in, I can zoom out.
I've done it 3 times. It's not working.
Let me try on my phone.
Okay, try.
Go to the one you're showing me a picture of. All right, let's see here.
So how's the football going, Bradley? Have you guys had a game yet? You've probably had a few.
We played homecoming Friday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does Ralston Valley have a pretty good team or not?
Not really.
No?
Not this year. His grade, he plays up, but his grade's really good, actually. Okay, I'm trying from my phone.
Okay. I really should have an iPhone. I've always had Samsungs, and yet 95% of my students have iPhones, which is a little problematic because I don't know how to direct them on how to do it with an iPhone.
All right, I sent it as well. See if you got it from me.
Okay. And it says sent for you.
Well, I'm going to go into my files here.
Shannon Greenbaum.
Yeah, so your email is
Okay.
sent from you. You go to your email.
You're seeing this, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Perhaps, Shannon, you could go ahead and this is only one problem here. If you could do another one that has multiple pages on it. I don't think this page is going to take up a whole hour, so we're going to need more problems.
Yeah, I'll do more problems, and then I'll send you one per. Yeah, and then I'll help him.
Actually, send the next email. Go ahead and attach a bunch of them.
Okay.
Because this will take us 5 minutes, and that's all it'll take. If you send a bunch of them attached with the same file, you don't need to send one email per picture. Just the first one.
And what we're doing is he's going to go through some stuff, but we'll just today just go through what the stuff he did last week, and then try to figure out this online meeting, and then I don't know how much stuff he has today, but then he says he's going to get a copy of all the test schedules so that you guys can do a big review, like a review before a test too.
That sounds good. Listen, as long as I have you on the phone, Shannon, what is your email address?
Did you just get it?
Oh, yes, I forgot. It came from you, yeah. So I do have it. ShannonLowry@gmail.com.
Yeah, and then I didn't do the PayPal yet, but I could just send you a check if it's okay.
That's fine. That's fine. I just need your email address to send you an invoice. How you take care of it is up to you. You can send a check or PayPal, either one.
Okay.
So this is where I'll send the invoices to. Okay, let's have a look at this picture. Hold on a second.
Let me send you some more here.
Yeah, you go ahead and do that while we're working on this.
That's the one below it?
No, it's just the same thing.
It is? We got to get your email going. We'll do that later. Okay. Okay.
All right.
I think I got you
So, Bradley, let's look at this picture.
Okay.
this is pretty straightforward stuff. In other words, what they're asking for is what's the difference between point A and point A prime? And that's what you call that, is A prime. Is that what your teacher calls it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can do this two ways. You can figure out the coordinates on A prime and subtract from A, or you can just figure out what you have to do to get from A to A prime. Well, you have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're adding 7 to the x coordinate and 4 to the y coordinate. Now,
Okay.
and that gives you the new point of 8, 3. Is there a shortcut? Yes, there is. It's what is written in red down below. In other words, merely adding the vector, which is 7, 4 at the top, adding that to your starting point gives you your answer a little bit quicker.
Okay.
All right. Let's see if we've gotten, let's see, example 2. I'm trying to read this. Graph each figure and its image along the given vector. Okay, I assume that's coming.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if we've received anything yet. Yeah. Now, did she take these in the order that we want to look at them? In other words,
Yeah.
can you see them enough to know that this is the next one we want to open?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I have the ability to take a screenshot of this and write on this document, which is helpful. All right, here, instead of translating a point, we're translating 3 points. The 3 vertices of a triangle. The green triangle you see, I'm not sure I need to take a picture of this, but just to demonstrate how well this works, I'll do it. So we're trying to figure out what's happened between the green triangle and the blue triangle, okay? In other words, what's the difference between A and A prime? What's the difference between C and C prime? What's the difference between B and B prime? And you'll find out that all 3 differences are the same because that triangle has not been rotated. It's the same exact size. It's congruent with the green triangle. So everything has been translated by a similar amount horizontally and a similar amount vertically. And that amount is 11. In other words, I'm moving 11 units to the right and 7 units down.
Okay. Is that all you have to do for that problem?
Yeah, find the translation vector and the mapping for the following. This is, I believe, an example problem, is it not?
This is like what we do in class.
Right.
And
In other words, they're just showing you what they're doing here. They're
and I was
green
there.
the triangle and they're translating it by that vector. 11 units to the right, 7 units down to get the blue triangle. You with me?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the second page. I think this is still an example, but doesn't necessarily mean we shouldn't look at it. This tells you exactly what they're doing. So here they're starting with the blue triangle EFG, gives you the 3 vertices, and it gives you the translation. The translation vector is what?
Is FGE.
No, here's what we're looking at. There's 3 points that are the vertices of the blue triangle. And then there's this. That is the translation vector. What does that mean? What does the 2, 5 mean as a vector? What are we going to do to this triangle?
We're going to move it 5 across and 2 up.
No, go in order as to how you read.
You're going to go 2 across and 5.
Yeah, because this is the x coordinate. That's the y coordinate.
Okay.
So x is left and right, y is up and down. So we're going to go 2 units right, and right is different than left. Left is a -2, and down is a -5. So positive numbers meaning you're going to the right and up, negative numbers the opposite. And to get these numbers, notice that they took point E and added the translation vector. I merely added 2 to the x coordinate to get -5, and I added 1 to the y coordinate to get 6. And
Okay.
each of these are gotten in that manner. In other words, you take this and you add this. And then you take this and you add that same vector, and then you take the 3rd point and you add that same vector. And what you end up with are those 3 points, which are E, F, G prime, the translated triangle. All right, let's see what this one looks like. Similar thing. In this case, we're not translating a triangle. We're translating a rectangle. Okay? And we're also not merely moving it by a vector. A vector merely moves at every point up and sideways, or up and down sideways. Okay?
Okay.
This is a little different. What we're going to do here is rotate it. Notice that the original rectangle is the black, QRTS, or QRST rather, and it gives you the coordinates of Q, R, S, and T. And they want you to do 2 things. They want you to rotate the image 90 degrees counterclockwise about the origin, and then they want you to rotate the image 180 degrees clockwise about the origin. All right, so here's how you do A. Let me take a snapshot of this so I can write on this thing. When you are rotating about the origin, take the closest corner and draw a line to the origin. See that blue line? In fact, here, let me change colors here. One of the beauties of online is I got multiple colors. I remember last week I wished I had a different color pen. Okay? Now, if I'm going to take that line, that pink line, and rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise, that's where the new S goes. Notice I have a 90-degree angle. You with me?
Yeah.
And that's what you do, is you rotate it 90 degrees, every point. And you could do the same thing. Let me use a different color. Let's see, they got green, blue, I got orange. Let me use purple. If I want to rotate point T, I draw a straight line, make a perpendicular line, which means the 90-degree counterclockwise rotation, and there's my new point T. Same thing with R, same thing with Q. Now, let me erase all of that. So, can you see how we get from that to that? In other words, part A is QRST prime.
Yeah.
All right, let me erase those. Now, coming up with those coordinates is not automatic, but you're going to be able to see. I think it's worthwhile if we do that right now. Tell me what the coordinates of, let's start with S. S prime. What are those coordinates? In fact, I'll write it underneath the coordinates of the black rectangle. Let's do it that way.
-1.
You're going to see a S prime is -1 and what?
-2.
What's T prime?
-1. -4.
What's Q prime?
-4. -4.
And finally, what is R prime?
-4. -2.
You see the pattern.
Oh, you just, yeah.
You take the Y variable,
Yeah.
is 4, you change its sign, and that becomes the X variable.
So you just,
Then you take the X variable and you don't do anything to it, and you make that the Y variable. So this is a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation. And that's the way you always do it. In other words, you got to notice the pattern. So you make the Y variable on the black rectangle be the X variable and change its sign. And you make the X variable on the black rectangle and you make it the Y variable. And that's what I've done to get the purple. I should have done it in green now that I'm looking at it. The purple is the green, okay?
okay.
All right. Now, I will use blue because that's the color that they have used. And this is a 180-degree clockwise rotation. Just a single C. Now, this is going to be a little confusing, but not really. Let's take Q double prime. What are the coordinates on it?
No, 4, -4.
Let's take R double prime.
2, -4.
S double prime.
2, 1, -1.
And T double prime.
4, -1.
Now, notice the pattern with the original thing. And that's really what we're doing is, in other words, the blue rectangle is the black rectangle that's been rotated 180 degrees clockwise about the origin. Well, how did I do that? If I draw that line to the origin, and then 180 degrees means a straight line. So my S double prime is going to be right where it's at because it's 180 degrees clockwise. You know the difference between clockwise and counterclockwise, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And oddly enough, most math uses counterclockwise. Odd, which is kind of surprising, but it does. So notice the pattern between the black rectangles, vertices, and the blue. In other words, what's the difference? How do you get from those brown numbers to the blue numbers? What did you do? Let's
just
look
make
at R. It's a little clearer with R. How do you get from brown R to blue R?
You make the X positive and the Y negative.
You change the signs of the X and the Y, but you don't switch them.
Yeah.
Notice we did the same thing with S, and we did the same thing with T. And that's what we're doing with Q. It's just not as obvious because both numbers are the same. Okay? So Q is not a good one to use to illustrate this. But R, S, and T do exactly that. Now, what if we had taken the green and rotated it another 90 degrees counterclockwise? What would we have had?
We would have...
Take this line and rotate it counterclockwise 90 degrees, making that a right angle. In other words, the green turns into the blue. Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's meaningful. In other words, we originally got the blue by doing 180 degrees clockwise on the brown. And we originally got the purple by doing a 90 degree counterclockwise. So you can see that 2 90 degree counterclockwise is the same as a 180 degree clockwise. And that's as it should be. It's 360 degrees, a full rotation. In other words, if I took this black rectangle and rotated it about the origin by 360 degrees, it would merely put it back where it was. So I can do 90 degrees, I can do 180 degrees in the other direction, and all of these rules kind of follow. There's a set of rules for when you do a 270 degree rotation, and it's usually always about the origin. You may have one that's not, but most of the time it's about the origin, especially when they're first teaching you about this stuff.
Okay.
And like I said, the way to think about rotations about the origin are to take your point, draw a line to it, to the origin, and then if you're doing a 90 degree rotation, that should be a right angle. If you're doing a 180 degree rotation, then that's a straight line. If you were doing a 300 or 270 degree counterclockwise rotation, you would end up here somewhere. With me?
Yeah.
All right, that's these rotations in a nutshell. Let's move on. I need more pictures, I guess.
All right. Here, Mom. I don't know if there's any more, because
Can you look at what you missed on Friday?
that's what we're going over.
Oh, good. Okay, well, look, and let's see if I can.
This is the last one I got, the one you're looking at now. Well, hold on. It looks like there may be something. No, at the bottom I see graph the quadrilateral. Well, that's quadrilateral right there. So that must be pertaining to that picture. Now, you don't have to necessarily send me pictures of everything we're going to go over. If it's stuff that you can verbalize, fine. You know, most algebra can be verbalized. You're just reading an equation and we're solving it.
Well, I just need the book from school.
Okay.
Yeah, because everything's online, but it's
Okay.
a couple problems with every. Yeah.
You want to do that one?
No, this is what we just did.
Okay. So what do you need?
I need a book.
Can you get one from school for next Sunday?
Yeah.
Do you want me to ask your teacher to give you one?
I might have one in the classroom.
I will send her an email.
I can get the book.
You said you do most of your stuff online, Bradley?
Yeah.
I'm able to pull up an online site so that we can both look at it. Now, you would have to give me your password and user ID, or you could log into your online site, and I have the ability, GoToMeeting has the ability for me to make you the presenter. So we could look at the problems on your computer and then solve them on my computer. The best way is if we don't have to switch back and forth, because that's like 5 mouse clicks per person. It's a little inconvenient to toggle back and forth as to the presenters. And I found over the years that it really kind of works best if I stay the presenter and we're both looking at my screen all the time. But like I said, I can pull up your website, or
People at the church under the tour. Hello?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Shannon.
What?
I wasn't sure if Shannon was talking to me, and I didn't quite
Oh,
understand her.
no, she has to. Mom.
Hold on, Brad. Give me 5 minutes.
Okay. No, she was going on the phone with her work.
Oh, okay. So what other stuff are you dealing with, Bradley?
Hold on, let me look.
If you had your book, what would we be talking about?
Well, they give us like page numbers for class.
Okay.
But I don't have the book, so if we had the book, I could take a picture of the problems.
Yeah, that's the way most of my students do it, is they have their books, they take the pictures out of the book, and they send it to me. Unless we happen to have the same book. Now, is it possible that we have the same book? I think Ralston Valley uses the same geometry book that I have, maybe. Do you know who the authors are? This is a McDougall-Lytell Geometry, Applications, Reasoning, Measuring.
Here, I'll look.
Larson, Boswell, and Stiff are the authors.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll look. See if I can find it.
And we might not have the same edition of the book, but they don't change it that much from edition to edition, so we're still going to have access to probably the same problems that are at the end of the chapters. And you're probably in my chapter 7 is transformations.
Okay. Yeah, I can't find my book, so.
Okay. Well, we can do a number of things. We can stop. But it's hard for me to go forward without you giving me the problems. You understand?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing next.
Yeah, I just need the book.
All right. Well, next weekend, make sure you bring the book home.
And then I'll just like send you the the book pages and we'll do the problems?
Yeah, actually, if you can just take a picture of the page where the exercises are that you need to do, and just send that to me, and then we'll both be looking at it.
And then I'm gonna get like I get test reviews, and I'm gonna get a schedule for when all my tests are, and I could just like
Okay.
before a test we could go over the test review.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not frozen to Sunday at noon. Whenever you feel the need, if you have a test on Tuesday and you want to do a session Monday night, just go to my website and schedule a session.
Okay.
Or call me, email me, text me, whatever. There's 18 different ways to schedule a session with me. So,
Okay.
Okay. So are we going to call it a day today?
Okay, I'm back. Oh, don't yell when I'm on the phone working.
I wasn't yelling.
Yes, you did. And those are church folk, and you don't need to say hell. It makes me sound trashy. So did you guys do a half hour today then? And then
we need the book for the problems.
So, okay, so what did you, Bradley,
we have enough problems to do a full hour today. So what I told Bradley is make sure he has his book next weekend so that we have enough problems.
Kind of a test run just
and I'm going to get the dates of the tests.
And I emailed the teacher, we're going to get the dates of the test, and then we'll get a hard copy of the textbook. Mm-hmm. And today was kind of, we wanted to see, what it was like. So
yeah.
I think we got to.
No, that's and this was recorded, so I will be able to send Bradley. When you entered your email to get into the GoToMeeting, is that the email you want me to use for you?
Yeah.
Okay, because I need to send you the link where you can always see these recordings, and it's the same link each time. Your file name will have your initials and the date. And so you'll be able to find your file that is the recording of our online tutoring session and play it at your leisure.
Do you have emails from him?
I don't have it written down. You want to give it to me? I can get it from GoToMeeting. I do have to go to them. It depends on whether you put it in or not.
What I'm asking you is he sent you the emails with the photos, and I'm wondering if you received them or if I need to see what's going on with the email.
I got the ones I got, Shannon, were from you. So I'm not sure what happened when he tried to send them.
So we'll do that today. We'll get his email going.
Okay, I do not have his email address, but I probably do if I go to GoToMeeting. In other words, did you put in your correct email when you signed in, Bradley?
Yeah, it is 20089@jeffgoschools.us.
Yeah, but the emails go through.
20089@jeffgoschools.
2008948.
2008948@jeffgoschools.us. Schools.plural.us. Okay.
Yeah.
This thing takes a while to process. Sometimes if I have a lot of tutoring sessions during the day, it takes all night. So you don't always get a copy of the recording until the next morning, but I always have it up there by the next morning. So keep that in mind. In other words, if you have a Wednesday test, you might not want a Tuesday session. You might want a Monday session, because a Tuesday session, you will not get the recording until Wednesday night, because you'll be off to school Wednesday morning. You know what I'm saying? In other words, if you have the tutoring session the night before the test, which is what 95% of students want, I'm not sure why. I guess they figure the information will stay in there for 24 hours and it might not stay in there for 48 hours. I don't know. I'm not fond of that method of learning. To me, the best way to learn is slow and steady, not cramming the night before a test. So your test dates, I don't really need to know those. You can schedule whenever you want. Okay, and that's completely up to you. We do not need to do it Sundays at noon. I have you marked down regularly for Sundays at noon, but whenever you want to change that, just let me know. You know, if you have a test on Wednesday and would rather have a Monday or a Tuesday session, let me know. I'm sure we can work it out, or you can just go online to my website and it'll show you my complete availability and let you do it without talking to me.
I think for now we'll do the Sundays at noon because the football is so strenuous all week.
Okay.
So just let's plan on that for now. And it's like you said, we can bring the book and all the information he needs on a Sunday so it's not cramming.
Okay. And
we need something.
Also make sure you have your calculator. I want you to have your calculator and your book. And figure out how to take pictures and send them to me. Figure out what your mom did.
I might just have to change my email.
Yeah, we'll figure that one out today with the email, with his email.
Okay.
So for next Sunday, we'll have a book and a calculator, and we'll have the email up and running.
Sounds good.
And then what? So today I owe you for about 45 minutes.
Oh, call it a half hour. I'm fine with it.
Okay. Well, you want to just email me with the email I sent you?
You know, I'll just do that on a regular basis. You don't need to pay in advance or immediately after the session. What I usually do is when it gets to be close to $100, I'll send you an invoice.
Yeah, whatever works for you.
I
mean, that's great.
So if you want,
whatever works. And we appreciate you. So you guys are communicating good, I could tell.
Okay. Sounds good.
So we will talk to you noon on Sunday, and we will have a book and a calculator, and we will have the email thing figured out.
Okay. Sounds good.
So it was a good test. You think so, buddy?
Yeah.
is there anything you want to ask him?
No.
Okay.
I got everything.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. We'll talk to you next Sunday.
Unless we have an emergency or something, and then we'll go online and schedule it.
That's fine.
All righty. Thank you, friend. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.